Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. If you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a movie for the first time in like 6 months. And here to discuss the cream to DNN's Oreo, Matt Penza. Coming in clutch last minute.
What's up? What's up? I just got off the golf course, so
a little sweaty.
That's why I'm
a little hot, a little nice.
The collared shirt today. This is not an everyday attire.
Nah, that is like you golf a lot. That's an everyday attire for you.
I mean, collar shirts are fine, but like I don't wake up and put on a collared shirt. Sometimes for work I do, sometimes I don't.
You know, it's funny. I rarely wear golf shirts to work like that. Like I wear button downs. I don't wear. I used to wear golf shirts like all the time, like for like casual nice things. But now I just wear button downs, and I only wear golf shirts to golf.
I don't know what your like the vibe is at your work, but I feel like you get
very casual.
Yeah, you could.
I wear jeans every day.
Start rocking the golf shirts.
Oh yeah, no, I could get away with it. I wear so sometimes I wear on like a Monday a t-shirt and jeans to work.
Yeah.
Back when we were going to work. But anyway, today we're discussing the New Mutants to just hit theaters just in time for theaters to open back up. So, on top of reviewing the movie, I mean, not that we have too much to say about our movie-going experience in COVID. I definitely wanted to mention it. But, Matt, what'd you think of New Mutants?
It was surprisingly much better than I thought it was going to be. I had super, super low expectations.
Yeah.
Just because this has been, like, delayed for, what, almost 2 years now?
Yeah, I wish I like knew the original release date. Maybe I'll Google it right now off the top of my head. Because but it has been delayed for 2 years.
Because this movie caught like the not backlash, but it was like finishing up right when Disney bought Fox. Mm-hmm. So all like the Xmen Fox properties that were in the works or like finishing up kind of. It was in a sense like what the hell are we gonna do with these? And New Mutants was like the kind of like the final one,
right? Like even
after Dark Phoenix,
even Dark Phoenix was kind of like all right.
But like Dark Phoenix was done, and New Mutants was like
Logan really
finishing.
capped it, and Dark Phoenix was just kind of like all right, we gotta like do something.
Like
they were already developing this movie, and then New Mutants was kind of the same way, but even more so, where it was just like this is a real spinoff. But the original date, April 13th, 2018. So they delayed it to avoid Deadpool 2, and then it was going to come out around Dark Phoenix, so that would have been weird. So they pushed it again.
Over 2 years.
But I feel like that's an excuse. Like, there's more. That movie was, like we were just saying, the Fox-Disney merger was something. Yeah. Like, there were more than a few effects for this movie. But yeah. What I've been going with is this is an okay movie that could have been a better movie, but it is what it is. Like it is. It's not trash. I was saying that we were talking a little bit in the parking lot last night when we went to go see it. And I was kind of saying like I think I'd watch this over Dark Phoenix.
I'm on the other side just because Dark Phoenix just has more action and more going for it to keep me entertained than this movie. Mm-hmm. Because this is kind of like a slower, much more contained story.
Oh, yeah. Much less action.
There's maybe 7 actors in the entire film.
Yeah. And there are literally 2 locations, one being the hospital they're at, and then the first scene being where one of our main characters, Moonstar, kind of has her origins, per se. Mm-hmm. They show how she gets, like, what happens before she gets trapped in the hospital, and then the whole movie takes place there, which is interesting in a way. And then, like, you made a really good point. This budget must not have been too much because, yeah, like, there's not a ton of effects, but the effects that are there are really cool. Magic's armor and, like, the effects used for her powers are really cool.
And they look good.
Sunspot looks okay. We don't see too much of him, but Magic is really where the effects shine, in my opinion, and she looked awesome. Anya Taylor-Joy did a good job with her, and Maisie Williams as well. I don't really know the rest of the cast, Who plays Dr. Reyes?
No idea.
She's in like every movie.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
And you have the older brother from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, Charlie Heaton.
Charlie Heaton is in it.
Yeah.
I don't know who Roberto, who Sunspot is, or even Moonstar.
Nah, they must be like, you know.
But like even you had like some, I guess they hired Mace. They got Macy Williams for this like kind of right when Thrones was hot.
Right. It must have been like maybe I'll throw it out.
And even
End of season 7 was the last season or 8?
No, 8. So maybe
so
6 or
I feel
7.
like during season 7 because we had a year off. No. Yeah. So during the year off, they had to have filmed this. Yes, that had to have been how it worked. So we must have known in 2017 she was going to be in this.
And they got the kid from Stranger Things, Charlie Heaton, which is another like. He was hot off Stranger Things.
Do you know he got
right?
like a cocaine charge and he was like out of the US and I don't think he could go back into the US to like finish filming New Mutants, like something. He ended up going back, but like I think he was like barred from coming back. Yeah. It was before season 2 came out.
I'm trying to think if there's any moments when like he's like not in the film and he should be. I don't think there are.
No, I didn't notice. I was in the back of my mind. I was like, let me see. I'm like, yeah, he's in the film enough. It must have just been like, I don't know. They must have maybe filmed around him or something. There are a few. He's definitely like, you know, one of the lesser characters out of the 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna stay pretty spoiler free here.
Cannonball too. That was his character.
I don't think there's much to say in regards to the story too much. Just be careful for slight spoilers. I mean, if you want to go see it, I don't think this review is gonna.
It's literally
either,
a
you know.
one-off.
Actually, it might be a deciding point, but would I say go see it?
I would say wait for it to come on demand or on streaming service.
And here's the thing.
That's my opinion.
If you're worried about going to a movie theater and like it's gonna be packed. Okay, so the theater we went to, Regal Edgemont in Newtown Square, for those who are local, we were like the only ones there. There were 2 other people in our theater, and but like when we walked in, like it was us, and that was it. And we took our masks off. I don't even think I knew the policy. I mean, I assume if there were more people, there would have been more like signposting, maybe. But like I like we got in and like we were eating too, so like. We took our masks off, and the people who were there sat in the row behind us, and it was fine. I mean, like, and like that's the thing too. Like, I think these first few weeks, it's gonna be interesting when I see Tenet next week, how King of Prussia is gonna be because it's been open for 2 more weeks. Kind of how many people are in the theater. It'll be interesting. But I think depending on where you are, you probably don't need to worry too much about like. Unless you're going at like a theater that's been open for a while and it's a Saturday night. I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's hard to say if you're not in our area or, you know, somewhere else. Or maybe you can't even go yet. So that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't think people are rushing out to see this movie.
No, not at all. So basically the plot of this movie is, the New Mutants are stuck in this hospital owned by the Essex Corporation, which is a Mr. Sinister reference, which really doesn't mean much of anything. They just kind of slap that comic book name on, and we're like, there you go.
Yeah, but you don't know it's the Essex
No, you kind of find out later, and I'm like, oh, that end credit scene from Apocalypse. Thank you. I keep forgetting. From Apocalypse makes sense now. Because, like, they went nowhere with that.
Because they even mentioned, like, the kids think that they're, like, getting trained, essentially, to be Xmen.
Right, which is interesting. And we even thought it was interesting they even talked about the X-Men at all. I mean, like, they name-drop mutants. It's kind of hard not to.
Yeah, I was surprised they did.
But, like, X-Men, I was like, oh, okay. It doesn't really know me. It doesn't really say what universe we're in, because technically, you know, maybe it's part of the MCU. It could totally be co-opted into the MCU. It's pretty detached.
I'd be surprised if they took any of these characters from the MCU, because what they're gonna do with mutants, like, they can't take these characters, in my opinion.
I mean, they could. It would just be like they would really have to do some retconning and explaining as to why.
Yeah, or they'd be like this. I don't know, because the X-Men already exist in this universe for these characters,
right? For
which, like, in the MCU,
I guess 20 to 30 years.
From all that we know, they don't. But like, if the X-Men did exist, we'd know about it already.
Right. Oops.
So yeah, and I don't think like I thought some of the acting was awkward here and there.
Yeah,
the pacing was a little awkward.
But for the most part, like there were some weird scenes, like the montage scene. Oh, Dr. Reyes is asleep. We're gonna go have fun.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
I don't want to say the pacing was awkward because like I never felt like bored, but like the tone from like scenes to scenes kind of just like 180'd randomly.
Yeah, there are a lot of
like,
horror
what?
elements in this movie that I feel like if they would have dipped into a little harder and put it throughout the rest of the movie, it would have been better because it seemed to kind of shine when I mean, this is kind of a spoiler, slight spoiler. Moonstar's power is she basically like creates illusions and of people's fears come to life, and they actually do come to life. And I guess depending on how much, I guess, energy she's putting out, because at first they're kind of like everyone is individually seeing their own thing, but it's not real for everyone else. And then at the end, her powers are strong enough to where the fears of individuals actually become real. And it's pretty cool. It's interesting. It's not like it's not something the MCU has really done. They're supposedly doing in Doctor Strange 2, but you know, we'll see about that. I mean, Scott Derrickson isn't directing it anymore. It's Sam Raimi. So, you know, we'll see if that's going to happen, but yeah, I feel like if they double down into the horror, it would have been more interesting. But some of it is just kind of your typical teen superheroes kind of don't know what they're doing and like still being teens and like, you know.
I think it's tough for them just pivoting off like what you're saying about Doctor Strange, for like the MCU to go take one of their big characters and go full horror. I think it's kind of tough because you have like the tone that they've set in the previous movies. Like you gotta do like one-off horror stories,
right? And I'm not sure when I say that, and like I guess I don't really know what I want out of that.
Yeah,
I think it would be interesting, but yeah, like you're saying, it's kind of hard to do like this huge tone shift. But I think it could be done. Like it's there, but it just you gotta be good. You know,
they're always gonna connect with what they do in the MCU. Like they're always gonna connect to each other. We've seen that. Right. So like it's tough. It would be tough to do like a full horror and then have them connect in like saying Avengers later, and like those horror elements aren't there. The character might feel like kind of awkward, if that makes sense.
Right.
But like New Mutants could have been a really, like I kind of hope they do something similar to this. Maybe like kind of what DC's doing with like the DC Black.
Right. The comic book, yeah.
Like what they're doing with the Joker. Like one-off darker, maybe like if they did like Marvel did a similar thing, like a one-off.
Well, I mean, this is another podcast topic, but I feel like DC is going back to, okay, we're gonna be darker because we tried to do it and we listened to you guys, and our movies that are like Marvel aren't doing too well, so we're gonna go back to what we were doing before and kind of stick with directors' visions, which is like the Snyder Cut, and like the Joker I don't think was part of that equation, but like clearly it did well.
It showed them.
Yeah, and like Batman v Superman did financially well. It didn't review well, but like it made a shit ton of money.
That's the thing. Like those movies, either side, like we're at the point like either side now, they're gonna do a shit ton of. They're gonna do well regardless, money wise.
Yeah,
it just matters.
I mean,
like
right now, beg to differ. We were talking.
We
were talking about like what New Mutants is actually going to make opening weekend, and it's already going to be fucked. One, because of coronavirus. Two, not all theaters are open. I'm actually curious to see what theaters are open where, and like not even like just in the U.S., but internationally.
Internationally, a lot of other countries are better than we are. So
yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
But I think like what turns people off from this is like it's not MCU connected. I don't even think we got the Marvel logo.
Oh, it was in the beginning in association with Marvel. Yeah,
okay.
It was there.
I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, so like it's kind of like it's just in an awkward spot.
Right. These characters.
I feel like
No, go
last
ahead.
part like
here we go.
It's kind of like a perfect time for them to put it out because
it is actually
because they know that it probably wasn't gonna do that well, and if they can put it out now, they could be like, oh well, it didn't do well because of COVID.
Right, they can like write that off now, and like Black Widow is still a few months out, and I was even saying in theater, I feel like all hype for Black Widow is just like non-existent. Like I don't really understand at this point how you can be like excited in the way you're excited for like Endgame, where like everything is just like natural and like you get your trailers,
Yeah,
and the movie comes out on time. Like this isn't the case. Like, you know, I wasn't really excited for it in general, so maybe that's a little biased, but you know, you're not getting anything super new with Black Widow. It's not like Black Widow is a whole new superhero and we've never seen this character before. We've seen Black Widow before.
I mean, she's just like finally getting her due, you know?
Right, and it's just kind of like it might not do well because like
it's gonna do well.
It might not do well, one, because of COVID, but two, I don't think it has that, am I gonna go out and like kind of like risk myself and go to the movies for Black Widow? Maybe somebody would say no, but maybe if it was like a new character that looked cool, maybe they'd say yes. I don't know.
It's the first.
It's a factor.
It's the first MCU film that's coming out post all this COVID stuff. It's gonna post like
Homecoming,
which
Far From Home, which was over a year ago.
So like it's gonna do well just because of that, and like ScarJo, like Black Widow's a popular character. It's gonna do fun. It's gonna do well. Like I said, we're at the point with these movies, like DC included, where these movies can't not make money.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's a matter of like whether they're just gonna be good movies or not.
Right. And kind of going back to the movie, I thought all the characters were pretty good. I think Maisie Williams did a good job. Anya Taylor-Joy did a good job. The character, everyone just kind of seemed to do a pretty all right job.
Yeah,
like,
there wasn't
like
any standouts.
Nothing bad.
Magic was definitely
the accents, though. Like, everyone had an accent.
Yeah.
Maisie Williams is doing a Scottish accent pretty well.
Decent. Yeah.
Pretty fucking well. Anya Taylor-Joy is doing a Russian accent. She's American. And then Charlie Heaton, who's British, is doing a really hard Southern accent.
Kentucky
and then
accent.
the guy who plays Sunspot, I imagine that's his normal voice.
It was the accents. I thought Magic's was fine. Russian accent's so tough because like they all sound corny, right?
Yeah, it's a hard accent to nail. Even Russian
that's why they took Black Widow's accent out.
Did she have an accent?
Yes, in the beginning she had an accent.
Are you sure?
Yes.
No, that was
ScarJo had one way back, or was that a Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, it was Scarlet Witch.
Had one, then they took it away.
Yeah, it was Scarlet Witch.
Trios,
ScarJo never had an accent. Yeah, that would have been interesting. I don't even know if she has an accent in the comics.
Well, she's like a trained to be a spy, so
but yeah,
that's right. Scarlet Witch, ScarJo, Scarlet Witch.
I like this movie kind of has some cool action points at the end when
really cool. I thought all the effects looked good.
Yeah, when Moonstar's bear comes out, that's pretty cool. Magic's kind of full display of power and her little dragon friend, good. I liked all that. Even Cannonball's kind of like the way he like takes off is pretty interesting. And then Wolfsbane, I wish we saw her like transform like fully into the wolf. Little bit more. We do, but I kind of wanted to see it up close. Like I think it would have just been cool. Like I think if anything, she doesn't get like as much spotlight in regards to her powers.
Yeah, but like you saw, like there's a few scenes when she was fighting and she's like half human and half transformed. So like she's like clawing with her wolf claws,
but they're her hands.
Enemy, but she's like on, which I thought was pretty neat.
I'm trying to think about what else I really want to say. Like it's an okay movie. It's not trash. I think like again, Dark Phoenix is worse, but like I don't have like too much to Trio just like fucking snickering.
I don't think Dark Phoenix as a movie, yes. Entertainment value, no.
Yeah, it's not like it's definitely less of an action movie. 100%. Like Dark Phoenix is way more of a I'm gonna go and like turn my brain off and like watch some like mutants punch each other in the face. Like New Mutants is not that at all.
But it's also like one of the things about this movie, especially early on, I felt like it was like a strange early 2000s movie. Like I got that vibe from it. Like, early on,
like low budget, just kind of like
a group of kids trying to like this movie felt very early 2000s, like not coming of age, but
no, there's some there's some lesbian action in it,
it's
and
just
like
that corny vibes, like the kids are doing.
Ileana and Roberto have like their little love scene, if you want to even call it that. Like there is like that teen movie stuff in it, like, and even like that montage where you just looked at me and I was just like, and I just shook my head.
Yeah, because like the montage came like right after like kind of like a downbeat in the movie.
Right.
Like I forget what it came afterwards, but it was like a moment when like tensions were really high and like it was a real emotional scene, and then they just go straight into this like, hey, Dr. Reyes is sleeping.
Let's go have fun.
And they have a montage. I'm like,
now
what's
we're gonna
going on?
we're gonna have like a pillow fight and like fucking I don't know, dance.
So like it just like it was just strange at moments, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, again, I don't think I have much more to say. Would I say go see it? Probably not. I think you can definitely wait. It's not something you need to see. And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. It's a hard movie to talk about. Sometimes we see movies and we do podcasts and it's like I don't know, there's not much to say. This is just one of those, and that's fine. I kind of I planned on that.
I had low expectations, and
we both had low expectations too.
I thought it was better than I expected it to be.
Yeah, which is good. But are we gonna remember it in a year? Probably not.
No. I also was expecting wasn't expecting this. I was expecting at the very end some Xmen something like a plane dropping down and being Xmen coming out. We don't see their faces, but like a Shazam Superman moment where like maybe we see Professor X in the wheelchair, just the back of him, no face. Yeah.
Right.
Or any character like that, or maybe like Colossus shows up. That would have been neat. Like, because
it's Deadpool Colossus.
Because she's the younger sister Colossus Magic, or anything like that. Anything X-Men related, I thought they might have put in, because why not?
Right.
But maybe it was cut because
yeah.
Because I mean that's done.
And yeah, right. Fox doesn't. They still own it, but like, there's no point of like leading to something that there isn't. But
yeah, and probably after the Disney deal, maybe it was like taken out.
Right.
Because we know that Disney's gonna have their own plan with the mutants.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a whole nother.
We're probably not going to see that for even longer now due to COVID. But I think that wraps it up for us. Thank you for watching. We're not recording this live, but you can watch podcasts live at twitch.tv/Delco Network. You can watch this podcast on demand on the app of your choice or on youtube.com/Delco Network, and whatever app you're on, just search Delco Network. We should come up. You can find us on Twitter and Twitter and Instagram at Delco Nerds, as well as Facebook. Just look up Delco Nerd Network. All this information can be found on our website, www.Delco Nerd Network. Thank you for watching, guys. For Matt, I've been Gooch. See you next time.